No. Good. Hey, y'all. Good morning. No, I'm talking about them coming here for that. Okay. All right, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm trying to get myself together because some of y'all, where was it? Where was it? Let me find it. So, as you guys are aware, about a month ago, I lost my cousin. Well, we call him Jameson, but he's James Pettigrew Jr. A lot of you saw the crust of the crazy post where my family was like, well, if y'all see this girl, call the family. And I was like, don't call the family, call the police because they're a little off. Okay. So we got this information. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it to play. Oh, it's going to play in my glasses. Hold on. Trying to hurry up before they get started. I know they have some OJP stuff to do this morning. Play.
Let an expert do your taxes. Pay only $150. No hidden fees.
Hurry up.
With TurboTax Expert Full Service.
Right now at 11, nearly a month ago, a man was found shot and killed in the Hilltop, and police had no answers until today.
Well, now police have released photos of 4 persons of interest in the case and need your help to find them. 10 TV's Libby Cathy has more.
I spoke to the mother of James Pettigrew earlier this evening. She was ecstatic at this development, saying it's one step closer to justice for James.
That's what really makes me excited, that the ball is rolling, because once the ball starts rolling, it doesn't stop.
Jacqueline Salisbury is mourning the loss of her only son, James Pettigrew, who Columbus police say was shot and killed last month inside a home in the Hilltop.
That was my child.
Jameson.
Regardless of him being 31, that was my child.
But today, she's also hopeful after Columbus police released images of 4
they got him, y'all. Watch this.
Interest in his murder. Those images are on your screen. When I showed them to Salisbury, do you recognize anyone?
Oh, yes.
Boom.
Yes, do I?
Boom.
Of course. That's why I'm super stoked.
Stoked.
To the light.
She said she recognized at least one of the people pictured, saying it was someone her son trusted.
It's definitely one of them.
Can you tell me which one you think it is?
This one.
You think is this person did it?
He definitely was the person that, I don't think that he pulled the trigger, but he put the person up to do it.
Have you shared that with Columbus police? What do they say?
They basically just said that, they need evidence.
As police continue their investigation, Pettigrew's mother sharing this plea to those responsible.
Turn yourself in, come clean, so we could get this, over with and we could move forward, and, maybe you can heal your heart.
She says she's ready for an arrest and a trial so that
James's soul can rest, shall I say. How's that?
Do you think after the trial, it will take a conviction for James's soul to really be able to rest here?
It's going to take a conviction for my soul to rest.
And police are asking anyone who recognizes these individuals to please contact police. They say not to approach them as they are considered armed and dangerous. Reporting in Columbus, Libby Cathy, 10 TV News.
Didn't y'all say when y'all pulled up that address, who had that address up? Friend, I think. Sheila, when y'all pulled that address up, y'all said it's some camera somewhere. Somebody seen some, caught them all, and his mom recognized them. That's so it be the ones closest to you. It be the ones you think is your friends. I told y'all his mama ain't no joke. I ain't gonna tell no stories, but his mama ain't no joke. I'ma just say that. And I learned that in front of a Magic Mountain during the kid's birthday party, okay? As a child. It's always the ones closest to you. And I didn't think that was no. Woo! So it's been what now? 13 days since his service. And I kept asking because I did not make it to the service. My sister went, but I was like, who missing? Like, who's missing from the service, right? Like, that was my question, because that always is like the telltale. It's either the person that's missing or the person that's sloughing all over the casket, doing the most. It's usually, you can always tell who ain't do right by the person. Kathy, they still on that ass. They still on that ass, baby. So now I believe more than one person was, I'll say, unofficially identified, because as you can see, the family has their own. That's so embarrassing. The family, as you can see, is gathering information, but CPD is like, we got to have the evidence. We can't just take your word for it. But I guarantee there's more to how she got that information. And that's the other thing, Keisha, they be bold enough to show. That's why I said, if they show up, you can tell who ain't do right, who ain't acting right, who ain't right. Because everybody know the story of Rich Porter, right? So, or you've seen the movie Paid in Full, and how that fool was showing up and coming to see the family after he done what he done to them people, his own friends. You know what I mean? So you can, if you know that story, or at least seen that movie and know the story behind it, then you know that that's usually how it happens. Something happens and they all of a sudden they ain't your friend no more, but you still their friend. I saw the sentencing, but I did not. I honestly, listen, I'm going to tell you what I have right now, because I'm waiting on a break in this trial, because I already got it queued up, because I didn't get to see the statements, the statements. So I already got this queued up at the beginning, because we did see the actual. I saw Latasha Daniels speak, and then we saw after we saw Latasha Daniels speak, we saw they took a break, and then she got sentenced. And then we saw the mitigating factors and stuff like that. So I would like to see the actual victim impact statements. So I have the victim impact statements, as you can see, already queued up. So when we go into break for on this in Utah, we'll go to break and I'll play the victim impact statements from the Latasha Daniels. Fulton County don't need to say nothing about nobody's music, the way they be trying to use it to put people in jail for life. Now, I also said, let's stop while we ahead, because I don't like it. I had a very busy day. I have a very busy week. And when I say busy week, like, I think the last scheduled obligation I have is at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Okay. So I got all these notes, all these things that I got going on, because I still need to recap this entire trial, days 1 and 2, because all I've done so far is the opening statements. I gotta put it in maybe like a coffee date. I have some research of sorts that I'm doing right now. There is preliminary hearings for a case here in Arizona that I'm juggling, as well as trying to get somebody to give me some information in regards to some things here in Arizona. So got to meet with them as well. Amanda, I'm not built to be a teacher. They already got me scheduled for one next month, and I'm already about to use my membership at Cooper's Hawk. Jarvis is over. Jarvis is over. He took a plea on all 6 cases. So on that matter, it's over. However, he's going to be sentenced on March the 12th, I believe, at noon. I got the time somewhere. So his actual sentencing with those victim impact statements. Let me tell y'all something. If that grandma get up there and give an impact statement, I know something. I was almost thinking about carrying my ass to Michigan because y'all. It better not be one of them. Not Annette, not Shannon, no. And some of them cousins I don't want to see. They've been all over the internet giving information. I don't want to hear it. Because y'all knew crap was going on in that house. Y'all knew Jarvis was all up and through that house. And whether it was Naziah or any other child, y'all knew he wasn't supposed to be there. And so now you want to say, oh, but it might have did this, or it might have happened to me, or they knew it was happening. Everybody knew what was going on about that in that house. Everybody knew about Jarvis, but everybody said nothing. I don't want to hear it now. I really wish his deal was null and void unless his statement gave her remains. I want to know if Shannon got immunity, because I want to know his statement better implicate everybody involved, or I wouldn't take it. Deal would be off the table. They all should be charged. And I'm not just talking about them either. RICO. Fulton County would have had a RICO on this. These are the things that should be a RICO. Not song lyrics. These are the things that should be a RICO. You have a system that knew he was a repeat offender by the time he was 19 years old. He had already impregnated a 13, 14-year-old girl. At that point, he was on the jail phone talking to other kids, getting his other victim primed and ready, and she's sitting up here with immunity. There's no way that man should have been able to walk out of prison and be able to skip anything on that registry list. Every time he did not update his information, check in, whatever it is he's supposed to do, everybody that fail safe there, where you don't get no email alert, you don't get no notification that somebody ain't check in. What about his probation officer? You ain't get no notification that he ain't check in. What when he couldn't provide you with an address of where he lived? You knew he was living somewhere. I was about to sing that dang song. It gets cold in Detroit, okay? He's somewhere. He ain't sleeping under a bridge. So whoever house he was sleeping in, if he had kids at it, where's the charge? Where's the charge? Everybody that knew that child was having issues. Everybody that saw that stomach protruding. That dang on guidance counselor, or whoever the hell it was. Every single body in succession, before Naziah, during Naziah, and after Naziah. Every single person in succession, starting with the fact that he did not check in, update his status on the registry list for years. On probation at the time of this stuff, 4 years. Sitting up there. Hell, he was violating his probation by sitting up there working with King. You can't be with other felons. Like, there was so many reasons to throw his ass in somewhere inside the jail. And we didn't. And see, people like Jarvis be like roaches. He'll actually make it that 35 fucking years. People like him will actually make it outside that jail on year 35, day 1. And actually be old, decrepit, sitting on the porch, passing out candy. Like, let me tell you something. I don't like it. I don't like that all those timers start at the same time. I don't like the fact that he was a habitual offender long before he got the Nasiah, but don't have to take the 25 for being a habitual offender. I don't like that roach. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like that roach. He one of them roaches that just whatever lineage made it through them dinosaurs going extinct. That roach, that's Jarvis. There should never be a deal for somebody like him. But I said it during, y'all, we said it during preliminary. We all said it with me. It was multiple people that said it with me. Too many to count that if he actually thought by admitting to having the relationship that he was going to weasel his way out of the unaliving. When he realized that unaliving was actually happening, when that judge read him for filth, the way that she did, oh, that was chef's kiss. The way that judge read him, I think that's when I think we said it at that point that he was going to use Nasiah again. That judge let him have it, child. Oh, I loved it. Oh, I loved every bit of it. I loved every bit of it. And I think that I wish she would have been the one to do the trial. I wish she would have been the one in charge of everything, because I don't think she ever would have went with that immunity for Shannon. The way that she read Shannon in that in that statement to Jarvis too, she straight up said, family members got up here and committed perjury. Y'all knew that man was in that house. You knew that man was in that driveway. You knew that man, like, she called him out. I wish she would have been his judge. I wish she would have got assigned to him, because they all would have been charged, because she called them out for committing perjury right there in her statement to him. I wish, Sharonda, they can kind of, but I wish it was something else to it. I wish it was only an option if they found Nasiah. But then again, on the flip side, and please do not take this the wrong way, and if I say it wrong, or if it does not come across the way that I'm hoping that it does, please charge it to my head and not my heart, because I really truly don't mean it like this. But who is that baby going to? Now, before I say this, I'm not saying that somebody don't deserve to have that baby's remains, excuse me, and lay her to rest, whichever way. But that is closure for for the people that are still here. That is not, that person is, that body is just a shell. That she's gone. Her soul is gone. Her soul left that body. Unfortunately, in a tragic way, but her soul left that body. Who deserves to even have that closure at this point when nobody tried to make sure that baby had a life? Who? I mean, like, the only person you can think of would possibly be her mother, but her mother may not be in the mental state to handle that at this point. At this point, getting her remains, I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this. Getting her remains would not be my number one priority. I think I would make him wish I wanted her remains. He can tell me where she is, and I would definitely take that information. And she does have some family that is absolutely ended up hands tied, thanks to children's services, thanks to the grandmother, thanks to the aunt. So there are some people who were absolutely family, but not family enough in the eyes of the law to be able to do what they needed to do, like like you said, Laura, her cousins. So I think that there are some people that deserve that closure, but I think they should absolutely have a memorial service and I'd rather see him.
Court. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ms. Gibson, you and I have met before, but just for purposes of the jury, again, my name is Kathy Nestor, and I do represent Kouri Richins along with my co-counsel.
Okay.
So I wanted to start by just kind of revisiting what we discussed yesterday about your role in this case.
Okay.
So it's my understanding that you are, for purposes of saying it an easy, non-lawyerly way, you're the evidence lady, right?
Yes.
So all the evidence that's in this case kind of comes under your purview, right?
Yes, it does.
And you're responsible for being told when it's located, right?
Correct.
If possible, photographing it where it's found.
Yes.
If not possible, then making a log of where you're told it was found.
Correct.
Keeping those logs, safe and secure, right?
Yes.
Noting on the logs the day it was found, the location it was found, and by whom it was found.
Yes.
Making sure then that it's packaged in a way that it can't be tampered with later.
Yes.
And then storing the evidence in some way that is protected from the public or from tampering.
Yes.
And by the way, where do you store all of your evidence?
In our evidence room in the sheriff's office.
Here, just right across from this courthouse?
Correct.
Right. And that room is locked.
Yes.
And only certain people have access to that room.
Correct.
And whenever anybody goes in or out of that room, they have to sign in, right?
It's a key card access. Yes.
Okay. And then ultimately your goal is throughout the investigation, if someone needs to look at something, they got to go through you and you check it out and let them look at it and then check it back in.
Yes.
Right. And then you also, the plan is at trial, you're going to come with a box and you're going to show it to the jury. Some things they may be able to see, some they may not. But ultimately, you're going to hand all that evidence over to the jury. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Now, there is an exception for some types of evidence. For example, we've heard testimony in this trial about blood and bodily fluids and samples of tissue. You don't maintain those, correct?
Correct.
Pardon me?
Correct. Just to clarify, we do have a few items from the medical examiner's office that are stored in evidence.
But not fluid of
No.
nature, right?
No.
Because most of that is maintained by the medical examiner's office, right?
Correct.
Or the labs where those items were shipped.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other type of evidence that someone other than you has a hold of in this case?
Not that I know of.
So one of the pieces of evidence that you are responsible for gathering in this case included the 911 call. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
And tell us what you did to obtain that call.
I believe I was booked into evidence on a USB.
On a little thumb drive?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you ever reviewed the USB and made sure that the call was in fact on it?
Yes.
And you verified that that was a true and accurate copy of the call?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor, at this point, we would move to admit State's Exhibit 2-40, which is the 911 call in this case.
Is this, forgive me, just so I have context, this is the same as the one we've already heard?
I did a little snippet of it in my opening, but it has not come in yet.
Mr. Bloodworth.
Your Honor, it's Ms.
Oh, my apologies, Ms. Sherman.
That's all right, Your Honor. My objection is based on hearsay. Certainly there are portions of that call that may be admissible by the defense, but broad swaths of that, the state would object on the basis of hearsay.
Would you folks approve?
Sure.
Any other questions about foundation related to Ms. Gibson's receipt or preservation of the 911 number?
Do you recall who you received the 911 call from?
I don't recall off the top of my head, no.
Do you know whether you downloaded it yourself off of a county database?
I wouldn't have access to that. That would only be one of the supervisors in dispatch.
So one of the dispatch people gave you the thumb drive?
I don't know how it got from dispatch to me. It was booked into a locker, I believe.
And what is that?
On our evidence locker. So when it's booked into the sheriff's office, if a deputy books it in, it typically goes into the temporary locker where they drop the key and then we collect it.
Is that what happened in this case? A deputy dropped it off?
I believe so.
How do you typically in other cases gather the 911 called for evidence purposes?
It's either that way. Sometimes I will personally request it if the detective asks me to. But either way, it's just taken from the dispatch center and booked into evidence.
So once that thumb drive got into your evidence room, it was maintained safe the way that we just talked about with all your other evidence, right?
I believe so, yes.
So there's no reason to believe that the 911 call that you have would have been tampered with in any way.
Correct.
Okay. I think that's it, Your Honor, unless the court thinks I need more. Okay. We're going to come back to the 911 call later in the trial. Okay. Court's indulgence for just a minute.
Of course.
As another part of your duties, and I want to use our language really carefully here, so if you could match my language, that would be helpful, okay?
Okay.
Were there calls between Ms. Richins and her family that you obtained recordings of?
Can you clarify?
On about a weekly basis there for a while, were you downloading calls between Kouri Richins and her family?
Are you talking about jail calls?
Your Honor, move to strike and need to approach.
to time, there are legal issues that come up that I need to discuss with the attorneys at sidebar. This will happen throughout the course of the trial. There's no particular significance to any one of them. Second, please do not consider or speculate at any time during this case or during your deliberations about whether the defendant was or is in custody or was in custody at any time. That is not evidence of anything. You cannot consider that issue for any reason. Ms. Nister, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right. There was a time where you downloaded home wave calls. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And those calls, when you would download them, you preserved those calls in the same way that you did all the other evidence, right?
Correct.
So it was kept in the evidence locker. No one could tamper with it or alter it.
Correct.
And some of those calls, there were transcripts made. Were you involved in the making of the transcripts of those calls?
No, I was not.
Okay, thank you. All right. So I'd like to go through with you kind of a timeline, I guess is the best word for it,
Okay.
of your activities on this case. And I'm not going to retread what Ms. Shervinack already covered with you. I'm going to try to talk about things that she didn't cover so we don't exhaust the jury, okay?
Okay.
So I want to talk first about the night of Mr. Richins' death when you arrived on the scene. When you arrived on the scene, you did mention there were already people present. Is that right?
Correct.
When you were there, were they still conducting CPR or had they ceased their efforts to try to revive Mr. Richins?
They were not working on him, no.
So at that point, you knew this was going to be a death scene, right?
Correct.
Okay. And was there somebody on the scene that was giving you tasks to complete, or were you just using your best judgment on what you needed to do while you were there?
I was there to assist Detective Woody.
So Detective Woody was the individual that kind of told you what she needed from you at the scene.
Correct.
And when you first arrived, what was it that she said she needed your assistance with?
I don't recall her exact words, but to assist in documenting the bedroom.
Okay. And you did that, right?
Correct.
Okay. And one of the pictures that you took was admitted yesterday. Just a minute. For purposes of the family, this is going to be a photograph of Mr. Richins' body under the sheet in case they'd like to step out. Can we pull up Exhibit 1-7 that was admitted yesterday and publish it, please?
We can do it first.
I don't, oh yeah.
Any objection, Ms. Shervinack?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll publish that now. One moment. There you go.
Okay. And this is the picture that you testified yesterday that you took. Is that right? That morning?
Correct.
All right. Above the head of Mr. Richins, under the bed, there is a crumpled up sheet. Do you see that?
Yes.
And if you look directly above it to the mattress, this is one of those beds. I'm guessing it's one of those adjustable beds that's divided in the middle.
Yes.
But you can see that there is a sheet on the mattress that's the furthest to the bottom of the picture. And there's not a sheet on the mattress closest to the window. Is that right?
Correct.
And do you have an understanding of why there was no sheet on that mattress?
Yes.
What is your understanding of that?
My understanding was dispatch had instructed Kouri Richins to do CPR on Eric Richins and was then instructed to try to get him on a flatter surface for CPR. In order to do that, especially with a male, they're typically larger in weight, and so she instructed her to pull off the sheet in order to get him off the bed.
So in other words, can't lift the body because it's literally dead weight, right?
Yes.
And so the idea is to undo the sheet from the bed and then pull him down to the ground where you could do CPR on a flat surface.
Correct.
And is that because, I mean, I don't even know if you know, is it not successful to do CPR if you're on a cushy surface because you go up and down, right?
Yeah, it's typically a little bit harder on the person.
Okay. All right. And is it your understanding that the sheet that's crumpled up under the mattress that has no sheet on it, that's the sheet that he was pulled to the ground on?
I believe so.
Right. And did you examine that sheet before it was put into evidence?
I don't recall how much I examined it, but I looked at it.
Do you still have that sheet in evidence?
Yes, we do.
And is there any blood on that sheet?
I believe there was on this.
So if there was testimony here by EMTs that blood did not start coming out until after the EMTs were there, is it fair to assume that the sheet was under Mr. Richins when the EMTs were working on him?
Can you rephrase like the sheet
Well, let me ask
him?
this way. Why did you feel that that was an important piece of evidence to gather and keep?
Because it was where he died on.
Perfect. That's what I needed.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. You can take that down, Katie. Thank you. You also, I believe, said that you photographed other areas of the bedroom, right?
Yes.
And one of the photographs that you took, I believe, was the photograph of the nightstand, which was exhibit 1-9. Can we please publish that to the jury? Exhibit 1-9. It was admitted yesterday, Your Honor. Oh, thank you. I gotta get a screen on this thing. Okay, and that's the picture that you took as well, right?
Correct.
Now, when you took that picture, there's a wallet on the nightstand.
Yes.
Do you know how that wallet got there?
I believe it was placed there. I don't recall who placed it. It was there when I arrived, but I was told that it was retrieved from the kitchen.
So is it fair to say then that anything under that wallet that might have been residue on the nightstand could have been altered or changed by placing the wallet on the stand that night?
Not by just placing the wallet on top of an object.
Did you ever pick up the wallet and photograph what was underneath it?
Yes, we did.
You did pick up, and where's that photograph?
I believe OME Sessions documented that.
Okay. And did you open the drawers and photograph what was in the drawers of the nightstand?
I don't believe so, no.
Were you aware at that point that a hydrocodone bottle had been removed from one of the drawers?
I didn't know where it had come from, and it was taken with the decedent.
Okay. So you did not take the hydrocodone bottle into your custody?
No.
Did you open it and photograph the inside of it?
I believe that was OME Sessions.
Okay. So you can't testify whether there were pills in it or not at
No.
the time?
No, I cannot.
Did you ever recover that pill bottle back?
No, we did not.
Okay. I thought that was one of the pill bottles you introduced yesterday. Not?
No.
That was a different hydrocodone bottle?
Which hydrocodone bottle are you referring to?
So yesterday you introduced a packet, and you remember we came up and you were trying to
Mhm.
untape the bottle and looked in one of them, but there was
Yeah.
another pill bottle with that one. Where were those taken from?
It's in that same packaging from the master bedroom, the master bathroom, like linen closet area.
Okay, so the hydrocodone bottle you introduced yesterday was found in the bathroom.
That misstates the evidence.
Would you lay some more foundation, Ms. Nestor?
How do you know where it was found?
I was there that day, and it was found in the bathroom.
Okay.
And
So-
when you say it, for
That-
my
I
benefit.
need clarification.
Yeah.
It's not
Could
clear.
we, I need
Okay,
I'm having pronoun trouble here.
let's
Can
do
you be
this.
specific about which item you're referring to?
Let's make it really easy. Let's pull your package out because you
Okay.
still got them with you,
Yes,
right?
I do.
You got your box. Okay. Let's pull out package number. Just a moment. I shall find it.
Is it 9-1?
I'm looking. Yes. Okay, may I approach, Your Honor, just for a minute? I forgot I had that.
No, this. Can you take it out? Sorry. Make it look less.
Okay. So that was my bad. I got the bottles mixed up. So the bottle you just looked at was something called monocycline or something like that, right?
Yeah,
And that was a prescription for Ms. Richins.
correct.
Okay. So those were found in the bathroom.
Yes,
And that includes the quetiapine.
quetiapine. Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And those were found in the bathroom.
Correct.
And where was the quetiapine bottle found?
It was in one of the baskets that was in that linen closet in the master bathroom.
Okay. So what happened to the hydrocodone bottle that was sent with the body of the decedent?
It's under the medical examiner's office protocol to keep that until they're done.
So you don't have that bottle?
I do not know.
So all we have is a picture of that bottle.
Correct.
So it has never been taken for testing by you to anyone?
Correct.
So if there was fentanyl residue in that empty pill bottle from 2016, we won't know it because you never took it to be tested, right?
I was never given the bottle, no.
Okay. While you were there that day, you also did not take any photos of the kitchen, is that right?
Correct.
And you did not take any photos of the kitchen sink?
Correct.
Or what was in it?
Correct.
And you did not take into your custody any items that were in the kitchen sink, is that right?
Correct.
And you also did not take any pictures of the closet?
Correct.
And later, we've had pictures be introduced. When you did your Matterport walkthrough, we saw an image of a green jacket where the gummies were kind of sticking out of a pocket. That green jacket, you can't say whether that was there the day that you were there or not.
I cannot. And just to clarify, I did take, I think, 2 photos of the closet, just not that side of the closet.
Okay. So you took photos of, and I'm using this from my experience, but in my house, there's a woman's side of the closet, which is much bigger, and a very small man's side of the closet. Is that the way it was set up in Ms. Richins' house?
I don't recall.
Okay. And you also did not go inside the cabinet over the toilet when you were taking pictures of the bathroom and open the cabinet and see if there were gummies in there, did you?
I did not.
Okay. Also, there was a picture that has come in your Matterport where there was a little dot above the refrigerator where you said that some gummies in a clear plastic bag were found, right?
Correct.
And you didn't go above the kitchen and open that cabinet and take any pictures that morning?
No, I did not. You're referring to the morning of the death?
Correct.
Correct.
Thank you for helping me be specific. I'll try to keep my dates straight. So since you were personally the one who knows where every single thing was found, isn't it true that all the gummies, with the exception of the gummies that were found in the jacket and the closet, were all stored high up where children would not be able to reach them?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. All right. Just 1 second. I think we're going to move to another day. Oh, you mentioned when you were describing paraphernalia that you did not see any paraphernalia that day. Is that right?
The day of the death?
Yes.
Correct.
I'm sorry. I'm going to get better.
You're fine.
The day
You're
of the
good.
death.
Correct.
And you mentioned paraphernalia is things that we might be familiar with, which would be like bongs or vape pens or scales or little baggies you would put drugs in or something like that, right?
Correct.
Things that would store drugs.
Correct.
Is it possible that if someone had, in your experience, when you've been to scenes, have you experienced where people put pills in different bottles than what the bottle actually says they are when they're illicit drugs?
Are you talking about like prescription bottles?
Mhm.
Yes.
So if you saw an empty prescription bottle near the body that had expired 6 years before, could that possibly be paraphernalia? If it was used to store illicit drugs?
If it was used to store illicit drugs, it could be considered.
Okay, thank you. You also, that day of the death, you did not go upstairs at all, correct?
Correct.
You also did not go downstairs.
Correct.
Since then, you've walked through, viewed, videoed, measured this whole entire house. You're aware now that there's a kitchen downstairs, right?
Correct.
And are you also aware that there was liquor stored downstairs?
I was not.
Did you notice in all these tours that you did and videos that there was an actual beer fridge downstairs filled with beer?
On the day of the Matterport, or which day we were?
Any day you were there.
I don't recall.
Did you notice there was liquor bottles in the cabinet in the kitchen downstairs?
I believe there were some. I'm not sure about how many though.
Did you ever photograph any of those?
If I did, it would have been in my overall photographs.
Also, the day of the death when you were taking photographs, did you photograph anything in the kitchen trash?
No, I didn't photograph the kitchen.
All right. Did you notice anything set around the kitchen? For example, cut up limes or drink mixes or anything on the counter? Did you notice any of that?
I didn't enter the kitchen.
Never even went in it.
No.
Thank you for clarifying that. And I won't waste my time with more questions about the kitchen. Okay. So let's move now to the next time that you were in that house, which my understanding would have been April the 13th of 2022. Is that right?
Correct.
And what was the reason you were there?
We were there to serve a search warrant.
And this is going to seem like a silly question, but I need to make the record. So when you all execute a warrant of a home, do you tell the people in advance, hey, FYI, we're going to be at your house at 9 and we're going to be searching everything you own? Do you do that?
I don't.
No.
No.
As a matter of fact, it's important for searches to be done well and done professionally, that the person not know they're coming, right?
Correct.
And you guys actually take pretty extreme steps to make sure the person's not tipped off that you're about to search their entire house, right?
Correct. But you, just to clarify, I am not law enforcement officer. I'm not sworn, so that's up to the detectives.
I appreciate you making that distinction. I will not suggest otherwise. But you are certainly a critical part of the search process, right?
Correct.
And why is that?
I'm there to document everything and photograph, collect anything of importance.
So really, I mean, you're like the hub of the whole search, right? Like everything's coming to you that they find in that house.
Correct.
All right. So I know you're not a sworn officer. Maybe you don't carry a gun, but you sure are important to the search process. Right?
Correct.
Okay. So knowing that and knowing your role, you would never tip someone off that you were coming to search through all their personal belongings, would you?
No.
And is there any reason that you all believed that Ms. Richins knew in advance you guys were coming to her house?
Well, let's find out if she has any knowledge,
Right.
and then we'll know whether or not it's speculation.
I would just ask like a more precise question. I think and I'm not picking on Ms. Nestor, but I think it was you all, and I think we just need a little more.
Can we just limit the
Detail.
question to
Yes.
Ms. Gibson?
It's a Southern thing.
Yeah.
Y'all is just in my
Okay.
I'm
my
not
blood.
picking on her. I just wanted to be clear.
I'll try not to
would
say
you
y'all.
restate the question and limit it to this witness?
I am happy to. I will try to keep y'all out of my vocab, but it's hard. It's deep in there. Did you have any reason to know that Ms. Richins either suspected there was a search coming or knew there was a search coming?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So what steps did you, not y'all, what step did you take to prepare to go to that house that morning on the 13th?
I just made sure I had enough equipment to bring to the home, whether it be packaging, tape, property seizure forms, stuff like that.
Was there a debriefing prior where all the officers and you talked about how you were going to approach the home, how you were going to approach Ms. Richins, what the plan was once you got there?
I believe there was a briefing beforehand, yes.
Did you attend that briefing?
I don't recall, but I believe I was in there for part of it.
Okay. And how many officers were planning on being at that search, to your recollection?
I couldn't put a number on it. I'm not sure.
Rough estimate of how many people were in that debrief?
I'd say at least 5.
Okay. And when you all got to the scene, did you drive your own vehicle?
No, I drove a evidence van.
And how many police cars do you remember being at the scene that morning or throughout that day?
I don't recall. I'd say at least a couple.
When you arrived on the scene, was Ms. Richins in the home?
I don't believe so, no.
Did she at some point return to the home, or were you not even involved in that process?
I don't believe I was involved in that process.
So you never even saw her that day?
I don't believe so.
At any point were you asked to go check on the items that were in her vehicle when she was stopped that day?
No.
So you don't know what was in her truck the day that she was pulled over?
No.
And no one ever asked you to like say, hey, these items were in the truck where she was removed from during our search?
I don't believe it. So, and just to clarify, you're referring to the April 13th.
Yes, all
Okay.
these questions are the 13th
Okay.
until I switch, okay?
Okay.
So no one asked you to inventory any of the items in her personal vehicle?
No.
Did the search warrant cover the vehicles in the house?
I believe there were 2 vehicles inside the garages that were included. I'm unaware. I wasn't part of that part of the search during her stop, so I'm unaware.
Okay. Do you remember the weather that day?
It was winter. It was cold.
It was really cold, right?
Yeah.
Snow on the ground. Remember when we used to have snow in Park City?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. How long were you at the house that day? The 13th.
Believe we were there for about a half day. We were there for several hours.
Was there also a member there at the home on that day from the U.S. Postal Service that you can recall?
Yes.
What's his name?
Believe it's Smoot.
Right. Agent Smoot. Why was Agent Smoot there? What was your understanding of his role at the search?
My understanding was pursuant to the search warrant, they were looking for anything that could have been mailed to the house that would have contained drugs or paraphernalia.
Right. And Mr. Smoot works for the Postal Service, so he would be looking for things that were mailed, right?
Correct.
Like illegal drugs.
Yes.
Okay. And to your knowledge, did he ever give you any that day to check into evidence, anything that was an illegal drug or postage that looked like it was connected to illegal drugs?
Not that I ever recall.
All right. Was it your understanding? You okay?
I just need some napkins. Sorry.
Oh.
Ms. Nestor, I have a scheduling conflict at 9:30. Is this an appropriate place
Sure.
to pause?
Sure is.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is no fault of the attorneys. I have an unavoidable scheduling conflict from 9:30 to 10:30. We didn't want to lose all of that time this morning. We have gotten as much done as we could. We're going to take a recess. Fair reminder, please don't talk about this case or anything related to it. You are free to talk about everything else. Current events, your family, sports, whether the Spurs are actually going to make it to the finals. That's all fair game. But please, no talking about this case. You are allowed to use your personal devices during this recess, but do not use them to post about the case or to do any research, and please avoid any social media or other reports about the case during that time. Thank you for your patience. I promise we'll get back on the record as soon as we can. Please rise for the jury. Folks, have a seat, please. Ms. Gibson, during this break, like overnight, you are proverbially still on stand. Please isolate yourself. Don't confer with anyone. Okay. The court is in recess until 10:30. Thank you for your time.
Here today, along with his.
Stand here, face the judge. Raise your right hand.
Do you swear firm to tell the whole truth? I do. You may have a seat, ma'am.
Can you please state and spell your name?
My name is Andrika Brock. That's Andreka. Last name Brock, Brock.
Ms. Brock, do you know Latasha Daniels?
I do.
How do you know her?
By blood, she is my cousin. In life, she's my sister.
Have you prepared something that you wanted to read to the court today for the court's consideration on Latasha's sentencing?
I have.
Would you please read that?
First of all, Your Honor, thank you for allowing me to speak today. I first want to acknowledge the seriousness of this case and the loss that has occurred. Nothing that I say today is meant to minimize that. With a heavy heart, I'm here to ask for grace and mercy because I know my sister beyond this moment. I know her heart. I know her character. She is not defined by the worst moment of her life. She is a mother to 2 boys who love her deeply and need her. She has always been a present, nurturing, and devoted mother. I have watched her love them, fight for them, pray over them, and show up for them every single day. Latasha has spent years helping others, counseling men, women, and children who were struggling in life. I watched her start and build a nonprofit to support other people and continued this mission even while facing her own struggles. She has always been the person that people leaned on and poured into these people consistently. But during one of the darkest times of her own life, she was struggling in many ways that we didn't fully see. And as her big sister, I carry that heavily because I feel like I failed her in some way. This does not excuse what happened. But I want you to know that this was not the act of a cold, heartless person. This was a broken person in pain who made a devastating decision. I know that she is remorseful. I've watched her up until trial continue to pour into this nonprofit, helping others, continuing to pour into others, all the while struggling herself. She is a woman who needs accountability, yes, but also compassion and the opportunity for redemption. Your Honor, I respectfully ask that you consider her full life, her service, her motherhood, her mental struggles, and the impact her absence will have on her boys. We're not asking you to ignore what happened. We're asking you for mercy within justice. Thank you.
Thank you.
No.
You're under, next we would call DeAndre Davis.
Come forward, sir. Stand here. Face the judge. Raise your right hand.
You swear affirm to tell the whole truth?
I do.
Right in the seat, sir.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your name?
DeAndre Davis, DeAndre Davis, DeUndre, last name Davis.
Mr. Davis, do you know Latasha Daniels?
I do.
How do you know her?
That's my mother.
Have you prepared some words for the court today that you
I
want
have.
her to know about your mom?
I have. I'm Gen Z, so they're on my phone if you don't mind.
Mom, I don't ever think I've said this out loud, but you deserve to know watching you become a mother at a young age, it was so much being demanded from you than it should have been. As a young single mom, raising 2 boys, you carry responsibilities that most people don't fully understand. You didn't raise us, you protected us, guided us, and loved us with the strength that we could ever ask for. But things were hard, especially when things were hard. Later, when life changed, you became a wife while raising 3 boys. You had my little brother, and you kept going. You gave, and you gave. Even when you didn't feel appreciated, even when efforts seemed unseen, you made sure we always had what we needed, and somehow even the things we wanted, no matter what it cost you. You turned sacrifice into love, and that we didn't realize how much you was carrying. What hurts my heart the most, but fills it with so much admiration, is at the same time, it's knowing how much you were hurting emotionally, while still choosing to be strong for everyone else. You showed up every single day with a smile, encouragement, with love, never letting us see your pain. You put yourself last so we could feel safe, supported, and whole. You was always there for everyone, family, friends, anyone who needed you, while quietly feeling like no one was around for you. Even then, you didn't harden, you didn't stop loving, you didn't stop giving. You continued to put us and others before yourself, and again, because that's who you are. Your love shaped the people we became. Your strength taught us resilience, your sacrifice taught us empathy, and your heart taught us what's real and what unconditional love looks like. I see you now. I see everything you did. I see everything you endured. And I want you to know you were never invisible. You were never alone. You're always appreciated. And you're the best mother I could ever ask for. Thank you for being our foundation, our safe place, and our example of selfless love. I'm proud to be your child. I'm proud to call you my mother. This storm doesn't last forever. God has never failed us, and He won't fail now. Stay kingdom focused and love up, because even through it all, we all we got. I love you, Mama.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, I would call Latasha Daniels to the stand.
Come on. Stand here. Raise your right hand.
You swear affirm to tell the whole truth. Right.
You got a son like that, and you chasing somebody else's crazy son.
And spell your name.
Latasha Daniels, Latosha.
Now I know we got to see her statement yesterday. I'll let it play while we're on break, but I'll probably cut it off, guys, when Utah comes back, since we already seen this one.
Daniels, Daniels.
Ms. Daniels, you understand why we're here today.
Yes.
We're asking the court to consider mitigating factors for yourself. Right?
Yes.
If at any point you need some water, or you just need a minute, let me know. Okay. Now you testified at trial, right?
Yes.
So the judge will take into consideration everything that you've already testified to. So we're gonna focus on some things that you didn't testify about in the trial, okay?
Okay.
The first thing that I want to talk to you about is your family, okay? Can you please let the judge know who all is here for you today?
My son, DeAndre Davis, my sister cousin, Angelica Brock, my husband, Lonnie Nelson, my baby sister, Ebony Coben, my brother-in-law.
I missed that yesterday. Her husband. Husband.
Yes.
If at any point you need some water, or you just need a minute, let me know. Okay. Now you testified at trial, right?
Yes.
I know that's not what I heard.
Consideration everything you've already testified to. So we're gonna focus on some things that you didn't testify about in the trial. Okay.
Okay.
The first thing that I want to talk to you about is your family. Okay. Can you please let the judge know who all is here for you today?
My son, DeAndre Davis, my sister cousin, Angelica Brock, my husband, Lonnie Nelson, my baby sister, Ebony Coben, my brother-in-law. I'm sorry. My brother-in-law, Alpha Coben, my middle sister, Nicole Curley, my mother, Annie Marbury, my inner circle and dear friend, Karma Gardner, my lovely auntie, Barbara Ganaway, the matriarch of our family, Nettie Curley, my cousin, Frederick Daniels, Miss Tammy, my prayer warrior, my everything, Aunt Gladys, Curly, and Mr. Henry. And I also have LaShawn Hill and Janet Hill.
And Kendall Simmons as well.
Oh, yes.
As part of preparation for this hearing, did your friends and family prepare character letters?
Yes.
I'm going to pass you forward a pack of character letters and ask you if you recognize who these are from, okay?
Read them or just, like their name, just look to see.
If you want to just list off who they're from, you can, if the court would like that for the record.
Alpha Coben, Ebony Coben, Gladys Curley, LaShawn Dunn, Ingrid Green, Dr. LaShawn Hill, Miss Yvonne Williams, Janet Hill, I'm just gonna say CJ.
That's her son.
Dr. Letitia Johnson, Annie Marbury, Amy R. Miller, Devin Smith, Marilyn Stewart, Kendall Summons, Jocelyn Thompson, Brenda Ellis Williams, Jaleesa Williams, Pastor Ronald Bailey, Karma Gardner, Dr. Hill and Amy Miller loved me. They said too. Oh, God. April Taylor,
Your Honor, I would ask that it has exhibit A sticker on it from the sentencing memorandum. And Your Honor, that does include the ones filed with the sentencing memorandum as well as the additional ones received after that filing.
Shall we carry to your list?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Daniels, is there one very important person in your life who is not here today because they're no longer with us?
yes,
Who is that?
my oldest son, Deontay Davis.
And when did he pass away?
November 8th, 2019, 4 months after I was incarcerated.
Did he die by suicide?
He died by suicide.
And were you able to go to his funeral?
No.
Did you endure that loss while you were in custody?
Yes.
Now, I want to kind of shift gears, okay? I want to talk to you about your employment, okay? I'm going to pass you forward a document. And I'll make you recognize it.
This is my resume.
Okay. Tell me kind of a general breakdown of your employment history.
Before incarceration, I was a clinical mental and behavioral health therapist where I was in private practice for many years. I also founded a nonprofit organization called Links of Love.
What does Links of Love do?
We help, well, after incarceration, we started doing business as Love 365. And at that time, we began to help young adults navigate through life, to be spiritually, mentally, and emotionally healthy while navigating through life, so that they may build resilience and thrive through life.
And that was, you expanded on that after you were released on bond.
Yes.
What else did you do employment-wise while you were on bond?
I worked at Whataburger, where I started off at the bottom and within 6 months became the restaurant trainer. I left that position and went and began to become a barista at a local coffee cafe.
Does that resume accurately reflect your employment history and your educational history?
Yes, I also started a business where I became a life coach.
Your Honor, I'd ask that that be the next exhibit.
Any objection?
No.
So, within this resume is exhibit C to this one.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels, I'm handing you another pack of photographs. Do you recognize those photographs?
I do.
What are those from?
These are from two various community service projects where the young adults, although we work through spiritual, mental, and emotional resilience, we also give back to the community. So these are two projects. One, we did a project where we painted the church parking lot so they could have lines so they can park. And then the second one was a back to school giveaway where we gave back school supplies to the local community.
Are those the only two community service projects you've ever done?
No.
Your Honor, I'd ask that that be made the next lettered exhibit. A cumulative exhibit, please.
We show service which is cumulative. Exhibit C.
What other types of service-related acts have you done?
Before incarceration, I was involved in numerous community organizations where I did community service all the time through my sorority, Sigma Gamma Rho, being a member of Eastern Star, Prince Hall affiliated, the National Social Workers Association, Black Social Workers Association. I was always involved in community service, even through my church.
Did you continue community service after being released out on bond?
I did that through my nonprofit as I work with the young adults.
Did you have more than just those two activities, or were just those just the two that we have pictures of?
Those are just the two that we have pictures of.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels, I'm handing you a stack of books. If you would please look through those and tell me if you recognize them.
I do.
Please tell me what those are.
These are journals and books that I have written once I got out on bond, and that they are now available on Amazon and other local.
Your Honor, I'd ask that that be made a cumulative exhibit.
Any objection?
No, ma'am.
All right, we'll show the books brought by the defendants, exhibit D. You said, I'm sorry. D. Is it E? Yes, E, I'm sorry. Yes, E.
Can you please look at each of those, indicate the title and kind of a brief description of what they are?
This first one, Authentic, is just a writing journal. A Prayer for Mom, a journal for teens with incarcerated mothers, is a guided journal for teens who have incarcerated mothers. A Mother's Prayer is a journal for incarcerated mothers. It's also a guided journal.
Were those two specifically kind of inspired by your personal experience in custody?
Yes. Know Thyself is just a journal, and it has encouraging words for women as they write through each day. Kingdom Man is a writing journal for men. Kingdom Teen, 1 Peter 2:9, True Royalty, is a writing journal for teens. Level Up, gaining power during the fight is the beginning of memoir of sharing my story and my journey as I went through incarceration and learning to gain power during that time. Feel, Deal, Heal, Acquiring Love, Liberty Over Vulnerable Emotions is again part of my journey and story as I begin my healing journey through this process.
Now, I noticed several of those are writing journals. Why did you focus on creating writing journals for people?
Journaling is a coping skill that I use throughout all my life, but found it to be very necessary and needed during this particular season of my life.
And did you want to share that with others so
Yeah.
that they could help find that comfort?
Yes.
I want to talk to you next about your mental health, okay?
Yes.
Now, you have a master's degree in social work, right?
Yes.
Well,
I have.
let me do this while we're talking about it. May I approach?
Yes.
We'll back up just a minute. Do you recognize those documents?
I do.
What are those?
These are photographs of my degrees.
Okay, and what schools are they from and what are they degrees for?
The University of Arkansas at Little Rock, a Bachelor's of Arts in Criminal Justice. University of Arkansas at Little Rock, a Master's of Social Work. Walden University, Doctor of Social Work.
I misspoke, you have doctorate.
Yes.
Your Honor, if we could make those the next letter exhibit, I believe that would be F.
Any objection? No. All right. So defendant's degrees marked as exhibit. Counsel.
And Ms. Daniels, you've dedicated your life to studying and learning about mental health, right?
Yes.
But you yourself have struggled with mental health difficulties.
Yes.
As part of that struggle, since being incarcerated and even before, had you sought mental health professional care?
I have.
Okay. What were you doing prior to incarceration?
Prior to incarceration, I had begun to do individual therapy.
Okay. Now, what about when you went into custody?
When I went into custody, there's not a lot there, but I did have the ability to talk to one of the clinicians that come in that's on contract.
And you took advantage of that. You did see the psychologists available within the facility?
Yes,
And when you got out, did you resume mental health treatment?
I did.
Who did you see?
I saw Amy Miller.
And that was an individual that provided a letter to the court?
Yes.
How long did you see Amy Miller?
I saw her the entire time that I was out on bond.
Okay.
So for 2.5 years.
Did she ever give you any clinical diagnoses?
She did.
What did she diagnose you with?
She did major depression and PTSD.
And then as part of our preparations for trial, did you go through a psychological evaluation with Dr. Bidding?
I did.
Do you recall Dr. Bidding's diagnosis?
Major depression, avoidant personality, and borderline personality.
Do you recognize while you're in custody this time, do you intend to continue to pursue mental health treatment?
I have pursued it.
Tell me about that.
I have met with Dr. Mason, who is in the facility.
Why does that matter?
Being mentally healthy is part of my overall well-being. And so I am dedicated to living and I want to be healthy.
And are we sitting here today because of a mental health crisis?
Yes.
I want to talk to you about while you were in custody, okay? You've been in custody since the verdict came back, right?
Yes.
Have you availed yourself of any other opportunities within the facility?
Yes, the facility has where you can go onto a tablet and complete various courses. And so I took advantage of doing those courses while I've been incarcerated.
Your Honor, may I pass forward a group of documents?
Yes.
Do you recognize what those are?
Yes, these are the certificates I've gotten from completing various courses.
Would you please, for the record, read what course they are and their date of completion?
Entrepreneurship, November 2025. Origin Wellbeing Academy, December 2025. Enduring Skills, December 2025. The Only Person You Cheat Is You, December 2025. Explore a Career in Electrical, January 2026. Digital Marketing Certification Preparation, January 2026. Wellness Recovery Action Plan Reentry, January 2026. The Master Plan, January 2026.
Your Honor, I'd ask that that be the next letter of exhibit.
Any objection?
No.
Show certificate. Name certificate, exhibits G. That's a G.
And I understand the limitations of a class on a tablet, but did you find any of those helpful or insightful?
Yes, most of those that I took intentionally because they all, for the most part, assisted me with continuing with enhancing my mental and emotional well-being.
With those sorts of courses, is it kind of one of those things you get out of it what you put into it?
Yes.
And are you just going through the motions to get certificates, or are you still pursuing betterment?
No, I'm pursuing betterment.
Now we're moving into the closing end of things, okay? I know that there are some apologies that you wanted to make and some words that you wanted to say to the court. So now is your time and your opportunity to do that, okay?
Your Honor, to this court, if I may start with the Perry family. To the Perry family, no words can express the pain that I feel, nor will it ever take away the pain that you feel. But I want to say to you that I'm godly sorrowful. And I know it doesn't take back what has happened, nor does it negate what has happened. But I want you to know that I am so sorry for the pain that I've caused you. To Tabitha, I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. And I pray that all of you guys will forgive me. But please know, I never meant for any of this to happen. To my family, I'm so sorry that I've taken you guys through this. Never meant to hurt or harm anyone. And I'm so godly sorrowful. Judge, I know what I did. I wasn't in the best health. And I know it doesn't take away what happened. But please, know that I'm godly sorrowful. And I ask that you extend grace and mercy.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
No question.
All right, you may step down, ma'am. State, I think you said you had a letter that you
I do. part of my argument is what I was
Okay.
gonna do.
Okay. All right. Final arguments. We'll start with the state.
So, I filed some enhancement factors, and I want to talk about those briefly, and then I also want to talk about one that wasn't in my filing. So the first is there's more than one victim, and had the jury, and this applies also to 3 that I'm talking about now, but it also applies to 12 as far as this argument goes. Had the jury come back and convicted of criminal attempt murder or and included that wasn't misdemeanor reckless endangerment.
You said 3 and what was the other?
12.
3 and 12. Okay.
And 12 is the actions resulted in serious bodily injury to the victim, not intended. So the argument against those would be that because Ms. Archie was a victim in another county indictment, that you couldn't use that to enhance count 1 of the indictment or the murder 2. But because the jury didn't find, particularly as to 12, with reckless endangerment doesn't require injury. It just requires, and if you from the statute, a person commits an offense who recklessly engages in conduct that places or may place another person in imminent danger of death or serious bodily injury. So our argument is that those 2 factors can apply because of the jury's verdict. They didn't find Ms. Daniels guilty of particularly injuring Ms. Perry, but even that Ms. Perry was necessarily a victim. That she committed an act that may have placed another person in serious bodily injury. So that's for enhancement factor 9 that employed a firearm. I think it's conceded that applies to count 1. I submitted also applies to count 2 because misdemeanor reckless endangerment, an element of that is not a firearm. So that enhancement factor should apply to both counts. And then I would argue enhancement in factor 10. This occurred in public, in an apartment complex. Some of it outside on the balcony of an apartment complex in the middle of Carterville. So enhancement factor 10 should apply. After the enhancement factors in the sentencing memorandum, the defendant is asking to be sentenced as an especially mitigated offender. Just to take, in my mind, the concession that enhancement factor 9 applies takes that off the table when the court can't consider it, because under the statute 4035-109, the court would have to find mitigation but no enhancement factors. So if the court finds any enhancement factors, not that the mitigation outweighs the enhancement, 13.5 is off the table when we start at 15. And then finally, I just want to talk a little bit about the facts, and I'll kind of tell the court why maybe at the end of mentioning these. The proof was that she drove 3 hours. That during that 3-hour drive, she stopped and she bought a gun. The proof was that she went to his house, that she waited for him to get home. That she sat in the living room, spoke to Rose Perry and Miss Archie for a substantial period of time. Got up, was being walked out, grabbed the gun that she had purchased that same day, turned around and shot until she ran out of ammunition, hitting him 5 times and killing him, and also hitting Miss Archie, causing serious bodily injury. This was done in front of the murder was done in front of Miss Archie, who was his wife at the time. This is a 38-year-old, educated, mature lady. She had been married twice. She had been divorced twice. She was voluntarily having what was a secret affair. And that very day, just before buying the gun, she had received a text message from him saying that he wanted to end this affair. I tell the court all this because, and the court heard that, because even though the jury came back with second-degree murder, according to State v. Winfield, 23 Southwest 3rd, 279.
Can you repeat that site?
23 Southwest 3rd, 279. The court can base the sentence on the underlying facts of the offense for which she was acquitted, which is first-degree murder. And the reasoning goes that the jury's verdict simply says that the state didn't prove premeditation beyond a reasonable doubt. The standard of proof in this sentencing hearing is preponderance of the evidence. And so the court can consider all of those facts that I just laid out in front of you showing premeditation under the preponderance of the evidence standard and use those facts, and you can't go outside of the convicted offense's range. But certainly you can use that when considering what's the appropriate sentence for second-degree murder. And finally, before I get to the victim impact letter, Miss Daniels has done a lot of things throughout the trial, throughout the sentencing hearing, wanting the court to consider her the victim, wanting the jury to consider her the victim. One of those things in particular that I found telling, and that looks at her mindset, is she's mentioned in the trial and today, and it's tragic and it's devastating that her son committed suicide after she was charged with this crime and while she was incarcerated. But what she has never mentioned to the jury within this court, and it's on page 8 of the sentencing hearing, is that her son killed his girlfriend before he committed suicide. And so there's another victim that's involved in that Miss Daniels does not mention ever. There are also other victims in this case. And while Miss Daniels may have been depressed and may have not liked that her secret affair was ending, certainly Brodus Perry is the victim and not Latosha Daniels. And certainly Tabitha Archie is the victim and not Latosha Daniels. Miss Calvetta Perry, who is the mother of Brodus Perry, has asked the court to consider the following. And she says, "Good morning, everyone. These past several years have been so hard on my family. There is not a day that goes by without thinking of my son, who was the baby of the bunch. I miss his calls, checking in just to say, 'Hey, Mom, how are you doing?' I miss him every day. I do have his friends here in Jacksonville who check on me. I consider them all my sons. I pray whatever the outcome, it's in our Heavenly Father's hands. I pray for the strength every day to get me through. Grief is hard, and I grieve for the loss of Brodus every day. I will continue to rely on our God daily continue to rest my son, or God is keeping me. I pray that Ms. Daniels has asked for forgiveness, as the word states, thou shalt not kill. Thank you. And I have a copy of that I would like to make the next exhibit to this.
No, Your Honor.
And I would ask the
I would
court,
ask for a copy then.
Yes, request a copy. All right, we'll show, the victim's mother's statement is exhibit H. Does they have a copy? You have a copy of it? For Ms. Fuchs?
we will give Ms. Fuchs a copy.
Okay.
I will have her print one.
Okay, all right. Yes.
And I'm not going to throw a number out there. I think legally 13.5 is not on the table, based even just on the concession and the sentencing memorandum. One person was killed, another person seriously injured. I submit a lot of proof of premeditation. The sentence should be closer to the top of the range than the bottom of the range. And we've asked the court to sentence her as such.
The defense found a bunch of mitigating factors. Do you have a position on those?
I know.
All right.
Your Honor, first to address Mr. McAlpin's statement, the situation regarding her son, that would not have been appropriately before the jury. That would not have been relevant to the proceedings before the jury. That happened after this offense. So that is why that did not come up to the jury. And Ms. Daniels is the one who provided that information to probation for it to have been included in the report. So I would disagree with the fact that she has never mentioned that. The state did not file intent to seek consecutive sentencing in this matter. And the state argued more enhancement factors than it actually filed on. But I believe I have addressed all of the enhancement factors in my sentencing memorandum. To go through briefly on the enhancement factors to respond to Mr. McAlpin prior to arguing the mitigating factors. As to factor number 1, she does not have any criminal history. She does not have any criminal convictions or criminal behavior in addition to those necessary to establish the appropriate range. So that would be any situations outside of these events that are before the court for sentencing. There has been no proof of any criminal convictions or criminal behavior by Ms. Daniels. So I would submit that factor is not applicable. As to factor 3, that the offense involved more than one victim. Your Honor, the case law on this is clear. It is not applicable to the facts of this case under State v. Enfield, and that is 70 Southwest 3rd, 698 at page 706, decided by the Tennessee Supreme Court in 2002. When the Tennessee Supreme Court found that there cannot be multiple victims for any one charge when there are named victims in the indictment. There must be additional proof of other people in order to establish more than one victim. Here, what we have proof for is Mr. Perry and Mrs. Perry at the time the shots were fired. Both are named victims. There was not any testimony about anyone else out in the area that would have qualified as a victim during the shooting. And I believe the shooting actually took place within the confines of the apartment, and there was no one else in the apartment, and that was testified to. There was no proof here or at trial of anyone else that was placed in danger. So I would submit enhancement factor 3 cannot apply in compliance with the law. Mr. McAlpin argued factor 10, for the same reasons that the more than one victim cannot apply, that cannot apply either under State v. Kelly, which is 34 Southwest 3rd, 471, because there was not any testimony about someone else whose life was placed in danger by the actions of Ms. Daniels. Therefore, this cannot apply to these facts. There is a burden of proof on that, and the state has not provided proof regarding those factors. As to 12, the intentional infliction of particularly great injury. Your Honor, State v. Huey, which is a Tennessee criminal. I'm sorry? Yes. State v. Huey, which is an unpublished opinion that can be found at M 2000-0793-CCA-R3-CD and at 2002 Westlaw 51713. I have that cited in my brief at page 20. The court in that matter looked at this factor particularly and said, we see no reason why the rationale would not preclude the enhancement of a defendant's sentence under enhancement factor 12 when a conviction has been obtained against a defendant for the serious bodily injury or death suffered by the person other than the intended victim. And in this case, Ms. Daniels was indicted for first-degree murder of Mr. Perry, criminal attempt first-degree murder of Tabitha Perry, and the employing of firearms. The jury came back not finding premeditation at second degree. And as to Ms. Perry, they came back with the reckless endangerment. And Your Honor, the reckless endangerment requires that danger of bodily injury. So I think under State v. Huey, that would be a kind of a double dipping to apply that enhancement based on that language. I don't think it can be. I think clearly it cannot be applied to count 1. But even as to count 2, the reckless act of shooting is what placed Ms. Perry in danger. So I think that is consumed by the elements of the offense. I believe that was all of the factors argued by the state. They did file also on the use of a gun. And that would be enhancement factor 9, I believe. The courts have repeatedly said, yes, the defendant possessed or employed a firearm. The courts have repeatedly said that they've found error with courts for not applying this in murder cases. Because there's kind of a nonsensical nature to enhancing for the use of a firearm when the firearm is what was used to achieve the murder. It almost, it equates to an incentivizing to use another deadly weapon, which doesn't make any sense. So the courts have said that this can apply to second degree murder. I will concede that. I will also note that the court has discretion in whether to apply enhancement factors and what weight to give them. So if Your Honor does apply this factor, I would ask that you give it very little weight, as it is such an inherent part of the offense itself. In my memorandum, I did argue regarding the reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon. So I would just note that the deadly weapon, again, was what was used to accomplish the reckless placement in imminent danger. Moving now, Your Honor, to mitigating factors. Your Honor, we filed several mitigating factors. We are asking the court to consider factor number 2, which is that the defendant acted under strong provocation. a lot of these factors that we have filed on rely heavily on the testimony that came forward in trial, not just from Ms. Daniels, but from the officers on the scene, from Tabitha Archie, from Dr. Bidding. All of this testimony combined is what provides our basis for these mitigating factors. And particularly as to Ms. Daniels' testimony, she described the relationship that she and Mr. Perry had, and how it, especially at the end, was somewhat emotionally tumultuous, and that she was being pulled through this emotional whiplash, especially that day. And that the moment that she pulled out that gun, she was screaming, "You broke my heart." That she was so completely overcome by her emotions, coupled with her own mental health crisis, that qualifies as an adequate provocation here. And Your Honor, I think that this also, it should be noted that the objections that we made regarding the jury instructions, because the jury was not able, if they follow the law, to move down to voluntary manslaughter to consider whether there was that adequate provocation, because of the way the jury instructions are formatted. And I know Your Honor is very familiar with that argument, but I'd ask you to take that into consideration, and not dismiss it because the jury came back in second degree rather than voluntary manslaughter. Mitigating factor number 3, substantial grounds exist tending to excuse or justify the defendant's criminal conduct, though failing to establish a defense. Your Honor, again, this so many times throughout the sentencing memorandum, we do reference back to the emotional and mental health crisis that Ms. Daniels was suffering from at the time of this incident. And that was apparent, again, across the testimony. What happened on April the 4th is not a true depiction of who Ms. Daniels is as a person. All of these people are here to tell you that. Number 8, Your Honor, that the defendant was suffering from a mental or physical condition that significantly reduced the defendant's culpability for the defense. He did provide proof during the trial of her mental health situation. I'd ask the court to take that into consider, Dr. Bidding's testimony, that this was the result of an emotional and mental health crisis. So relying heavily on Dr. Bidding's testimony for that particular mitigating factor. And Your Honor, I think that that factor should be given significant weight. Again, the actions of April the 4th were not typical of the Latasha Daniels that everyone who knows her knows. And it was the result of this devastating situation. And it had devastating results. There is nothing to try to unvictimize Mr. Perry or Tabitha Perry. That no part of that. Ms. Daniels hurts for what she did to them. And not just because she's sitting here. But she was also suffering that day too. I don't think that those two things are mutually exclusive. She's not asking the court to consider her a victim. She's asking the court to consider her and to take her and her mental health into consideration when sentencing. And that's appropriately before the court. Factor number 11, the defendant, although guilty of a crime, committed the offense under such unusual circumstances that it is unlikely that a sustained intent to violate the law motivated the criminal conduct. Again, Your Honor, we would rely heavily on the testimony from trial. Immediately after this happened, Ms. Daniels was pointing the gun to herself. She attempted to commit suicide in the hospital. This was not the result of a desire to go out and hurt people. This the result of an emotional and mental health crisis that started at a suicide attempt and ended in a suicide attempt prior to her being taken into custody. And Your Honor, again, the evidence at trial supports the application of mitigating factor number 11. The catch-all mitigating factor number 13, any factor consistent with the purposes of this chapter. Your Honor, the primary purpose of Ms. Daniels' testimony was laying out the exhibits and the proof necessary for the application of various factors under the catch-all factor. First of all, remorse. And remorse is a qualifying consideration for mitigation under State v. McKnight, which is 900 Southwest 2nd 36. Relying on both her testimony today and her testimony at trial, Ms. Daniels has repeatedly emphasized how remorseful she is for her conduct. This is something that she grapples with every single day, and knowing the pain that she caused to Mr. Perry's family, taking his life, to Tabitha Perry, our chief, to her family, to Ms. Daniels' loved ones and her family. She is extremely remorseful, and I would ask the court to give a lot of weight to that factor. Second, she has no criminal history at all. And it is, again, an appropriate mitigator under State v. Kelly, which is 34 Southwest 3rd 471. She has a very strong family and support system, as is apparent in the courtroom today by these numerous people who are here to support her. And that is something that the court can take into consideration as a mitigating factor. She has a positive work history. The court has a copy of her degrees, a copy of her resume, information about her community service through her nonprofit. And that is also appropriately before the court as a mitigating factor under State v. McKnight. I also think that it should be considered that she got her education and pursued a impressive career after becoming pregnant at 17. And I mean, just to overcome the hurdles that she overcame, to do all of those things while dealing with her own mental health issues and parenting. She is an extremely motivated person that has always tried to seek better for herself and her family. And Your Honor, I did provide citations that the work history is an appropriate mitigating factor. She has a strong history of community mindedness before incarceration and after being released on bond. She continued her community service activities. She established a nonprofit. She has written books to help others navigate their way through the mental health crisis that she herself has had to navigate through, and try to give people tools. This is very real for her in the books, the journals for the incarcerated mothers and the children of incarcerated mothers, especially after having lost her child while she was in custody. She has a positive educational background. She has an incredibly impressive educational background all the way up to a doctorate degree. She has dedicated her life to helping others, as is evidenced by her profession choice and the books that she has provided. The court is to take into consideration the strong R testing, and she came back with a low risk of recidivism. And the only risks that they noted were mental health related. So, Your Honor, I would ask that the court give strong deference to the fact that she is not a risk of recidivism according to the strong R. The state did not request consecutive sentencing, I would ask that Your Honor not find for consecutive sentencing. I don't think that any of the Wilkerson factors apply here. In order to find a dangerous offender enhancement, which
It's even more annoying today than it was yesterday. Court should have been back 4 minutes ago, so I guess they are moving on their own time, but we'll wait for that. I truly don't know. I truly don't know how to. I heard her say something about her son. Yet I didn't hear her say what she said about her son yesterday, but I heard something about. I didn't hear the beginning of hers yesterday, so I didn't hear the part about them not letting her go to her son's funeral. But now hearing that and being able to put it with what the DA was saying, where the DA was not giving a anecdote, he was not giving a little story to drive his point home. He was talking about her child. So you said you was gonna go take yourself out, end up taking this man out, then decide you going take yourself out again, but never do. And then your child come behind you and do what you said you was gonna do. Your child comes behind you and takes out his girlfriend and take himself out. Like, they need to go back and run some testing on everybody that had been through your clinic. Shouldn't nobody be buying them journals? Because you a bullshitter of the premium kind. Yeah, he took the girlfriend out, but all she said was, they didn't let me go to my son's funeral. Baby. A meet and greet. Listen, Mel wanted to do one at one point. She wanted us all to come to Atlanta and do one. I think it'd be more appropriate if we had like a family reunion. We gotta play what's at the OJ's? A family reunion. We have to play that song. He said Shelby County wasn't about to let her go nowhere, huh? They said, nope, not today. No ma'am, no ham, no turkey ain't going. Yeah, that 20 years or so that man can get a head start. The judge trying to save him, because if you can't break up with her via text message, I would venture to say it ain't safe to do it in her face either. one of the baseball. But why don't them people go home? They still out here messing with people. Oh Lord. Oh shit. I'm supposed to send out those messages. Let me send them out. Oh Lord. Her husband better get on the good foot. Change his name, change his face, leave the car, the keys, the cell phone, everything in one spot and just walk off and don't stop walking. So he got a new name and a new place, a new identity because he need a restraining order at this point. Well, hell, though, he can't even get a restraining order because that's gonna give her the address she got to stay away from. He better ooh, child, he gotta. I mean, Jesus. Yeah, buddy, I'm at that point where I would like to just lay in a hammock with a bunch of pillows and a book and pretend to be reading, but I'm really asleep. I am there. Let me go get me a Pepsi before court come back.
of the day. We will have you come back tomorrow morning, ready to go at 8:30 a.m. Between now and then, same instructions. Please do not speak about this case with anyone. Please do not allow anyone to speak about the case to you. Please do not read, listen to, or watch any reports about this case from any source. You just have to affirmatively avoid those things. Please don't do any searches on the internet about this case at all. Thank you for your patience. Please travel safe. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Please rise for the jury. Ms. Gibson, may I have a brief conversation with you? You don't need the bin. You can leave that there for a moment if you want. Mr. Palmer will watch over it for you. You can just step to the podium for a moment. I apologize for this delay. Can you be here ready to go at 8:30 tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand that you are still, in effect, under oath and on the stand, so you cannot confer with anybody about your testimony?
Yes.
All right. Can you follow that instruction?
Yes.
Very good. I'll see you tomorrow morning, ready to go at 8:30.
Okay.
You'll be taking that bin with you, correct?
Yes.
Very good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Bloodworth, anything else on the record today?
No, Your Honor.
Rest of the day. We will have you come back tomorrow morning, ready to go at 8:30 a.m.
I knew I wasn't crazy. He dang, they was muted.
Please do not speak about this case with anyone. Please do not allow anyone to speak about the case to you. Please do not read, listen to, or watch any reports about this case from any source. You just have to affirmatively avoid those things. Please don't do any searches on the internet about this case at all. Thank you for your patience. Please travel safe. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Please rise for the jury.
Well, y'all, there it is. I don't know what happened or what had happened, but they're sending everybody home. Wow. All right, y'all. Well, it looks like that's it for court today. Now let me go be nosy and see what had happened. Let's go check some local channels. All right, y'all. Well, I guess we got an early day today. See y'all in the morning.